All right, we are calling the February 1st, 2019 Historical Commission meeting to order. Next, I need someone to, what, confirm?
Motion.
Motion to accept?
Accept. So, I forward the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second?
Okay, and then we need to approve the minutes from the October 23rd meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all right, so, you know our usual, the historic district.
Yeah, and I've actually, I'm at the point now where I'm mostly chugging down Main Street. I've got most of the outer stuff done.
Oh, good.
And I actually went back because I realized I had missed some stuff going through some of the earlier ones, because,
Not like a whole property.
no, I missed putting some of the information in, like the foundation
Yeah.
and some other stuff, which I don't know how I missed them, but I'm looking back into them. So I look, so it's, it takes 25 minutes or so per page, because you go either to Belding's report, and I look at the photograph, and I think I still need to reshoot. And this is my choice, only because I want to make the things as best as possible. I pull a lot of the stuff from the town site, the
Mhm.
photos right off the GIS mapping site. But in many cases, it's just the facade. It doesn't show the depth of the building. It doesn't show some of the other interesting pieces
Mhm.
that are on the building.
Yeah.
So in some cases, because there are a couple of buildings downtown that have, like John's building, like Mechanic Street
Yes.
building, that is,
Really
Deep.
deep, yeah.
and there's a number of other structures in there. So in some of those cases, not a few, there's maybe 20 or so in the
Yeah.
whole group where I said, I want to reshoot these.
Okay.
Because I can't use just those photographs. And this is a good time
And
of
that's
year.
getting that, so reshooting, like, so you're saying the ones that are on the GIS are not good enough?
Right,
Okay.
right, they're okay, but I want to improve them. Again, I
Yeah.
don't want to leave anything that's going to potentially compromise the whole package once we submit it. And I said, damn, I forgot the foundation on a few of them, and I forgot the siding. It says wood, but in fact, it's been vinyl sided or aluminum sided.
Yeah,
And that's mostly with the newer mid-20th century houses along Main Street. I'm running into more and more of that.
right.
Not so much the things that are out in the periphery, which have
Right.
largely been left alone.
And then, of
so-
course, we lost one building.
Yes, we lost
Mechanic
six
Street.
Mechanic Street came down. It was in poor condition.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't really, yeah.
Yeah. And it was
It
owned
looked
by.
like it
U-
from the outside, I wouldn't have any idea
It was,
about.
it was owned by
the rest of it.
Unibank, too. They were so they either bought it at foreclosure or something. So I'm curious, I wrote to John Petrelli, I said, do you know what they're doing with the foundation stones? Because I was over there a couple of days ago when the backhoe was digging it
It
up.
didn't look like much was there. I went, I
But
was
there
gonna
was, like, the
drive by.
foundation stones.
It is,
The
okay.
foundation stones
Mhm.
were still there, and those are, 600-700 pounds, 1,000 pounds, the bigger pieces.
So they could turn it into a parking lot.
Probably, but I'm wondering what's happening with all those stones.
What do you think they're good for?
They sold them, I'm sure.
I
Okay.
hope,
Yeah, you can get good money for those.
yeah, because they were,
For
nice
someone to
big-
landscape with or
they're cut
something?
stones the size of this table.
Right, but what does someone do with them? They landscape with them? Like,
Yes.
Oh, yeah, put them in housing.
Can't pick them up with a pickup truck, they're too big, you have to
Yeah.
have a serious forklift or some kind of other.
I hope someone salvaged some, there's
Yeah,
gotta be something
yeah,
in there.
Yeah, I'm sure there was. It was
mantle or-
1850 building.
Okay,
So I made that on on the report.
yeah.
That we lost that one. And again, that's one of only 2 buildings I know that we've lost in like the past 30 years.
Wow.
There've been very few. It's been a
Good.
very stable neighborhood.
Yeah,
Right.
A few quick housekeeping things, we can go back into that.
okay.
We got this in the mail, Ethics Commission reminding public employees about restrictions on gifts,
Don't accept any gifts.
don't accept any gifts.
No
Well,
one's
nobody's
offered.
given, nobody's given us anything.
With $50 or more, some exceptions, so that's just something I think we all need to look at. We need to sign it, but I read it and
Okay.
pass it around.
Read and make it official.
And then we just got this in the mail earlier last month, Mass History Alliance.
It's History
um,
Alliance.
I'm guessing that it's a networking organization, and again, in their first paragraph, they're asking for donations, suggested contributions. I think it's a networking opportunity. I'm not sure if we're gonna.
Where's it located? Like, is it in a certain
Um,
place? You go there, or how does it work?
Yeah, it's Plainfield, Massachusetts. The Alliance mission is to maximize connections, promote cross-fertilization, and support skills development in the field of public history in Massachusetts. Explicitly but not exclusively committed to supporting the paid and volunteer staff of the Commonwealth's many small historical organizations in their efforts to collect, preserve, make accessible, and interpret local history, enhance their sustainability and relevance to the community. And so there's a website for that, masshistoryalliance.org. So I'm going to at least take a look at that and distribute it to the rest of the crew. There's also the Preservation Awards, which I think is just about now. Deadline is February 19th. And the Mass Historic Commission, the next round of Preservation Product Fund grants, the deadline is March 22nd. So there does give us some time if we actually try to do something maybe relevant.
What's that one called again?
The Mass Historic Commission, this is just the
Okay, let me
deadline
see.
for the Preservation Projects Fund. I don't know if it's time to put something together for the old school that we
Yeah, we should have to have a
walk
goal,
through. I know.
Right, there was,
and the town would have to be on board with the goal. I mean, you can't just say, oh, this is what we'd like to see.
Right.
Right.
right, so if we did find something like that, what would we do, go before the selectmen with a
Yeah.
proposal?
I would
If we
think so.
thought we should go forward with something?
You know, what does the town's need, first of all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, I thought, we had some good ideas for using it, it was just all like pie in the sky, because none of it was gonna be inexpensive, So,
And where did we leave that? Because I think I talked about
We-
doing plans.
yeah, we talked, so there was one other building too, so most of us, all of us looked at the VFW building,
Right.
and then some of us looked at the grammar school, but then there was a third building,
The fire station.
the fire station. Okay. I don't know if we still want to do a tour of that. Sounds easy enough with Adam.
Yeah.
And then how big are these usually with these preservation boards, do you pick say you're gonna rehab the windows? Is it like,
It's
you
a
usually
matching
pick a,
reimbursement.
oh, it's matching,
Matching
okay.
grant.
They're all
So if it's
matching.
$1 million,
Yes.
if you can do everything and it's $1 million project,
Correct.
we'd have to have $1 million,
Yeah.
or have $1
Correct.
million, okay. All right.
Right, we have to. I'm just throwing it out there because it was in the mailbox and it just
Yeah.
came in fairly recently. Just in the past,
You'd have to have a pretty good plan for the town to
right.
fork up a
And again,
$1 million
since the
or
town's
something.
been struggling financially.
Yeah.
In fact, there was something in the local, it was in the regional paper I get at the office about Jen Callahan is the new, manager of the town of Oxford. And she
Mhm.
used to be a state representative.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I recognized that.
Yeah,
name.
and so, and she's been doing a lot in terms of ways to find funding, because Oxford's kind of in the same boat that we are, in terms of, they don't
I
have a
bet.
strong industrial complex, they may be a little more than Douglas does, to find ways to get additional funding
Yep.
for the schools and other basic projects
So
in the
what's she
community.
doing?
So I just read about it literally yesterday.
Yeah.
So I want to find out more about what she's doing.
Yeah.
Because she's very gung-ho on that, and see if there's something that we can leverage, use that similar techniques to try to get more funding for the town of Douglas. So we're not just constantly on your knees to the state,
Right.
starving for funds from the state.
Right. Yeah, I'll have to get on one of the selected meetings again too, to see what's my economic ideas, right?
I'm trying to think there was something else. I didn't write it down beforehand. We have all the schools in place.
You mean as far as another building?
Yeah,
So I have listed here grant possibilities, old fire station, we said Masonic Hall, but that's private. Mill site on Route 16, maybe some stuff from the library. So, it would be good to tour the old fire station. Do you
Yep,
want to
yeah,
see about
yep,
doing that?
setting it up, because I haven't been there, I don't think ever.
Yeah, but Adam sounds like he could do last minute. Your schedule changes, Becky's schedule changes. I think Sean's does too. We're a little more flexible, so
Yeah.
we'll just 2 days before figure it out.
Yeah, that's
something
about,
like that.
because we lost some people at one of the stores in Natick, and so now I'm shuffling back and forth between Alden and Natick. But
Yeah.
I'll put down for the days off, and then they'll say, can you come in and do Natick? And you give us 5
Yeah.
hours there.
Yeah,
I
so you
never know.
lose you. Yeah, so we'll just do it short
Yeah.
notice. Okay. All right, so we'll see about that. So this, I forgot to put it on the agenda, but what we should also figure out is the funds that we have, the
4,900.
4,900.
Yeah.
Okay. If we want to retain those and what we want to retain them for, because we think we need someone, a consultant for the district, or maybe not maybe a little bit, or not all of the
I
funds.
really don't think, if we do our job right, and if I finish this up, and
We won't.
I don't think it's gonna cost that much to do that.
Right.
But we got the grant, we have the money.
Yeah.
When you had the conversation, I didn't read all that email saying there's
Oh.
a deadline when.
I don't have this, like,
Probably
specifics.
coming
It's,
up, it'll probably come up for the next town meeting,
yeah.
so, we
Right.
may, I may.
Oh, and I know the library had to do something, but there was like a imminent deadline to put stuff in the annual report. I don't know if we got a request to write something up.
Yeah, I did submit the annual report.
Oh, you did? Okay,
Yeah.
maybe I looked at
I'll
that.
copy you.
Okay.
I didn't, the only thing I told you, I just added the fact that we did explore the old Common Elementary School.
Okay.
Mhm.
The idea of seeing if there's adaptive reuse for that building. That was about it.
Okay. So if we do, I don't know if we should be publicizing it more, like to the, saying that we're looking at some of these buildings, and I don't know if anyone has like ideas for things that they want to see preserved, or anybody wants to, would we ever like want to put a call out for people who are willing to donate services or funds or anything, or is that silly? I don't know, just thinking outside the box about how we get some of it done without it just being.
I think you have to be
Us.
careful of who works on it because it is public.
Right.
Yeah.
You need to pull permits,
You do.
Okay.
and so you probably need.
Licensed, insured.
Licensed, insured
yes.
Right.
people.
Right, which I would assume like most like a
Yeah,
general
most contractors
contractor
are
would
gonna
have all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't know how to break it down to like, if we took a
But
project.
what is your ultimate goal?
I know.
That's my
Well, that's
question.
what I was gonna say too, is if
You
we,
know?
if the goal was, what Becky said, which was a really good idea, is just, to make one of those like a public building that can be rented out, if funds come into the town, and, either one of those buildings have possibility, either the
Right.
grammar school
There's
or
function
the
halls.
VFW have possibilities for that, but then you're talking a big, long-term project, and if the town benefits, they have to be bought into it,
Mhm.
so it's a whole big thing. I don't think the political climate is right.
No.
for that.
I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
And I know the lot in front of the transfer station is likely to be developed in the next year.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, because that's
Okay.
privately owned.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
but there is, I've sat in a number of meetings, actually in this room, about that over the fall.
Mm-hmm.
And, because I have one interested party who's interested in, who's talking with
Interested
the
in like
owners
purchasing
and
it?
having a spot
Yeah,
when that lot gets developed, because it's one of the few commercial lots still available in Douglas. The only other ones that are still available are way out on Davis Street,
okay,
way past the schools.
Okay.
yeah. Do you know what they're thinking about putting there?
Drive-through Dunkin' Donuts, dry cleaner.
Isn't there a drive-through right
Yes,
across
there
the
is.
street?
Dry cleaner and some other small commercial businesses.
Yeah,
I think what they're probably gonna do is have that as an anchor, and then have 3 or 4 other storefronts available for first come, first serve, whoever wants it.
mm-hmm.
It's not gonna be like an auto repair shop, it's gonna be more like lightweight industry and mostly commercial,
Or yeah, or retail.
commercial or retail.
Okay.
So I think that's just come to
There's
pass.
really no
in the past
houses
month.
right next to that too, right? So
No.
it's kind of a good spot for something
Yeah,
like that.
it is.
Who owns that, do you know? GBI still own that?
Sorry.
I think, I can't recall offhand. I'm thinking of the other parcel, which is right down by Gilboa and North Street.
Right.
That's owned by
Oh,
an
yeah,
attorney in
that's
in
what's
Worcester.
happening with that for a long time.
Right.
Which is
But he wanted a
happening.
lot of money for that parcel because it's on a prime corner, so
Yeah.
it was beyond my contacts, resources.
Yeah. Beyond most people's resources. Okay.
No, I think the town has a number of sites they can use for whatever they need a building for.
Mhm.
But I mean, I think we're struggling to even get funding for the library, struggling to get funding for
School.
the upkeep of
Yeah.
any of our buildings.
Mm.
Right.
You know, unless you put something forth that the public,
So.
a good percentage of the public will see some benefit from.
But now, if something came up, like say in this building or the library, which are older buildings, could it maybe become a preservation grant as part of that?
I would think so.
Something that we could, like again, like do we want to put the word out a little bit for something like that, or just keep our ears open? Maybe keep our ears open.
That's maybe a
now.
question to the Mass Historic Commission, to say how best to
Yeah,
broach this, so.
yeah.
And also, what are you going to use it for? Are you just going to use it for a rental hall?
Well, no, I'm thinking, I'm going back a different direction, of not like asking for like a big project like that, more like if something comes up that does need to be like a more, like we're, like you just said, we're struggling to keep the library open and things like that. If it's more of and that could be a preservation project because it's a historic building, or something else that's an older, more historic building in town, then we've got a way to help fund it if we go for a preservation grant.
Right.
So we sort of
Does
keep our-
Blanchard School get one? They turned that into housing. They
Yeah.
kept a lot of the historic elements.
Yeah,
They
that was-
turned it into, yeah.
Right, and it was a major project, but that was like 5-7 years in the making.
It was.
Yeah, but they got it done.
They did.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting as a little case study, right?
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that is a good
Does
point.
anyone know anybody who might have been involved?
I know
or-
Mike Potaski was involved.
Interesting.
It's
I
like
don't know
the
whether
same thing
Harry
as the grammar,
Ramasco
it's the
did
same
that.
as our
Exactly.
grammar school,
Yeah.
basically.
It is.
Yeah, so that's a good template to
Yeah.
use. Ask, I can just visit town hall and ask.
Yeah.
Is that Northbridge or
No,
Uxbridge?
Uxbridge. Yeah, I would ask Mike Potaski.
Who's Mike Potaski?
He's on the Historic Commission in
In
Uxbridge.
Uxbridge. How do you spell his name?
Potaski.
So that's, David, you're gonna look
Yeah,
into that?
yeah.
Okay. And then for the MHC, the question about the town, I can ask them, but I don't know if you have a contact, like a certain contact?
Yeah, I have a couple of emails, people that I regularly contact.
Okay. I don't mind doing it if you just wanna send me the emails.
I mean, quite frankly, I think housing in that grammar school downtown would be the better option
Yeah.
than anything else at this point.
Right, because of the schools nearby.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like a very, very similar project. And this was many years ago, but the North Street condos, right? Isn't North Street, Gilboa Street, what street is that? The big,
With the Hayward
the big
Landing?
mill, Hayward Landing,
Yeah.
that's,
And they did that smart too. in terms
and
of-
that's definitely preservation, that's right on the
They
plaque.
went for a preservation, historic preservation designation
Yeah.
first, and got that approved, and then they went for their funding and the rest of it for matching
Mhm.
grants. and those.
Okay,
So they did it homework.
yes, and that looks like it was
And it's been-
done right.
It's been successful, yes, it's been done right. And I don't know what their occupancy rate is, but it's pretty high.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I
And I think
thought
it's a
it was
certain
like
percentage,
had
is it mostly low income?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly low
Oh,
income,
oh,
and I
is
think
it?
that Blanchard School is also, yeah, I think
I
that
think a certain
that's,
percentage of it has to be,
yes,
like 20% has to be.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, I don't think all of it is,
No.
because some of it was not cheap for the rent.
But yeah, percentage has to be,
Okay, but it's
Um,
preservation.
yes. And I think the Blanchard School also went with that, elderly and
Yeah.
Okay.
low income.
Oh, and then isn't it the mill in
Linwood,
Linwood
yeah,
too?
yeah.
Same thing.
Yes.
55 and
Few
over.
people
The
there.
cotton mill,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay, all
That's
right.
also-
we've
So
got
those are three
some-
good examples.
Yeah, so we've got some stuff to investigate. Maybe we'll reinvigorate that grammar school, what was that called? The Grammar School Commission there. Committee.
I mean, the old Douglas Center, I don't know whether the highway department is is interested in that, because I thought there was some interest. I mean, if you've ever been in John Furno's office, which I don't even think is as big as this room, you know,
Yeah,
is.
it's like,
Yeah, that's an
bursting
old
at the
building. That
seams.
was, I think, one of Harold Buxton's old barns. It wasn't, you know, part of it was that, and part of it was that, so.
okay. So as far as, you know, holding on to the funds, I don't know, I guess we'll see if we need someone for the, someone for the district as a consultant, and if not,
You know,
So
it goes
Yeah.
What do you
back
have to do with them? You turn them back again?
Yeah, it rolls back into
And
the
then
town
request it
office,
again
which
at
is
some
always
point.
fun. It's been
Yeah, I don't
like
have any
6 or
problem with
7
that.
years since we've had it,
yeah.
mostly my doing.
Mhm.
I'm amazed we've kept them as long as we have.
Okay, so the other things on the agenda were outreach for related town historic groups and, you know, maybe some of the cemetery plaques. But Betsy and I and Becky have been involved with the Historic Society, and I don't know the cemetery, is anyone on this? who's on the
Me.
cemetery? You are on that too.
Yeah. I don't know, it's a dead time of the year for the cemetery.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, Sarah? Sarah's on there too.
Literally dead.
You should be, though. Sarah and I are still documenting the cemeteries.
Okay.
It's a lifelong project.
And how, and the project that you and Becky were doing for the Historic Society, is that
Well, it goes from
wrapped
one
up?
to the other project, right, with the Historic Society. It's never ending.
It's never ending. What were we doing? Oh, to do the document, I don't know, I think Becky's kind of slowed down on that. I haven't heard her say
Yeah.
much about that.
Because she's, it
Yeah.
sounds like her hours are increased at the library too.
Yeah.
She's in her
And some
summer
stuff
time
with the
in there.
family she's gonna do too, so. Yeah, 'cause she,
Yeah, I think she has family obligations.
she had the, well, she finished that one project that's installed at the library, and then she was doing some of the paper, but then I feel like there was like,
She was working on the Gagney collection.
yeah, after that.
She finished the Coppola collection.
Right, okay.
And then she's, the Clarence Gagney collection, she's still working on it, I don't know. if she's
And
done.
I'm doing the clothing, the historic clothing that's here, I'm cataloging it, and
She is.
so I have a whole pile of clothes. So
I bet you do.
I decided to just like take the last, like there was like one little pile on the floor. I'm like, I'm just gonna take everything. Just,
Throw it in there.
no, which was probably a mistake, because now I'm just like, I don't want to go through that pile.
You probably know about this. At the Sturbridge Host Hotel, there was a vintage clothing fair. I think it's this time of the year.
Oh yes, I've been there, because that was my work before. We used to go and buy vintage
Right,
textiles and make them into new. And it's always the like day before Brimfield starts.
Right.
So like 3 times a year.
So that's coming up sometime this spring.
Whenever what's
Really?
the next?
Nick Brimfield
It's the
is
3
May.
times at Brimfield's.
I didn't
I
realize
didn't
that.
know if they did it. I never knew of them doing it in the winter, but maybe.
Because I went out there a couple times. And the collections are amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
They sell them off that they don't
Yeah.
need.
So we'd buy, when I was designing fabric, we'd buy that, you could buy new artwork, you know, for $1,000, or you could buy like a vintage piece, not for $1,000, but still for many hundreds of dollars. And so then it looked like a scrap of an old rug or something, and then, you know, these textile designers would come through and buy it for $400, and they'd be like, yeah. You know, probably the people, but that's their business too, they have to make money. But, yeah, that was a good show. But, we've got almost like there's like hundreds of pieces of clothing up there, and some are more valuable than others, so I don't know what the long-term
Mhm.
goal is with that. Maybe we set up a booth. Sell
At
them
the
at
Historic
Host
Society?
Hotel.
Or the Sturbridge Host
Yeah,
Hotel.
I don't mean that seriously, but,
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, I know, there's a lot of clothing up there, you know, what is relevant to keep, I don't know.
right, there's a few things that are relevant to
At
the
least we know
town.
what we have, I mean, that's a beginning.
Yeah, now we'll know what we
From the
have.
two sisters.
Yeah, for the two, so it's we're going like a little bit of a tangent, but, one of the girls who's helping, it's from Douglas, and I was like, oh, it was like Meowma's graduation dress. We saw the box.
Right.
Meowma's 1906 or whatever graduation dress. And she's like, who's, I'm like, you know who Meowma is, right? And she's like, no. I'm like, and Masmo didn't know either. I'm like, how do they not know these famous names in town? Like Win Schuster and Meowma. I don't
Right.
even know her last name, but.
Jenks.
Jenks. Oh, Jenks, of course. So, but anyway, we got the box, but her dress wasn't in there. But then, like, we had like there was like one piece that was marked with the thing that was in her hair, And then there was like a purple dress that was, it looked like it was all together, like it might have been the graduation, just
Or
got
prom
separated
thing.
from the box. So, I don't know, I'm hoping that Barb has a photo that we can match up.
Mayalma always wore blue and Helen always wore pink.
Oh, now this is like,
I see, now
this
you
is like
just
a
got some-
periwinkle color, so I don't know if she'd
Yep.
consider it blue.
I will tell you that.
All right,
Always, always and forever, even when they were old.
that's so funny.
One always wore blue and one always wore pink.
I didn't see anything with Helen's name on it, oh, it's not, I haven't come across one. Yeah, so, maybe that's, we can get a grant for that. Yeah, so, I don't know what else, that was, most of what was on the agenda. So, I'm happy to help organize the district.
Yeah,
You're
well,
better
I'd say
at
that- yeah.
identifying, but I'm happy to take over the paperwork once that stage is done.
Yeah. No, it's actually been going more smoothly now, because I've got a better technique that I'm using to
Okay.
go through it. Again, so many of the outer peripheral buildings are more challenging. The main street, it's more just, there's so many mid-19th century, mid-20th century buildings along that street that are, some are contributory. Once you get past downtown and go head out that way, it's mostly, 1940s and 1950s capes.
Yeah.
And whatnot, so those are pretty
So in
easy to
another
deal
20
with.
years, we'll do the
So-
the next era.
Those should go a little more quickly.
Yeah.
But like I said, I want to document a few of them over the next month, and I hope to have them wrapped up by the end of February.
Okay, all
And
right.
then we can have a
We're
review
partying
of
on March
that.
1st.
And then I'm sure there'll be crosses to, T's to cross and I's to
That's
dot.
a dot, yeah.
Um,
Okay, yeah, so
we'll do
that's
that.
good for me to help with.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, anything new you want to?
Could use new members,
Could we?
a few, yeah.
I don't know, what's our limit?
How does that work? How do you pick how many people are on a?
Just has to be an odd number, I think, for voting.
Okay.
7.
Which we are.
I don't, do we have a designated number? Some people have a designated number.
Not as far as I know.
No.
It's supposed to be an odd number, 5 or 7.
Okay.
So we
have
have
to get 2
5
now.
actually.
Right.
Yeah. Or we go to 11.
Because we had a few other people that sat in for a while, and then they,
Yeah, that was unusual, right there at
Yeah.
Geico, and then,
Amadeus Finley, went
Yeah.
off, and a few others that didn't come back.
yeah,
And I've written to a couple
I
of them.
know. And, I see Sue, but, and she's here if we need to help her, to help with
Right.
something, but she doesn't want to be a member.
Oh, Sue Perkins?
Yeah.
And she did her yoga student, she did a lot of work on that.
Yeah.
But again, people are moving into town all the time, and some people just are interested getting interested through the Historic Society, and then we can kind of
Yeah.
pick on them
we
and
could-
see if they're
Yeah, I
interested.
could try to recruit her from there.
Right.
But that reminded me of something that left my head really fast.
Put Sarah on. Sarah's very interested in history. She does a lot of history.
Yeah, she was very good with that.
Want to be on our board, Sarah?
Let's talk to her offline. Okay. so
Can we
that's-
adjourn?
We can adjourn.
Okay.
It is 9:42.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
What is this?